Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Scale Model Kit Review. Welcome back to another exciting installment of Build the Batmobile by FanHome. Welcome back to Scale Model Kit Review Studio, and welcome back to another installment of the fantastic FanHome Build the Batmobile. I am on Pack 13. Pack 13 includes stages 63 through 68. That's 6 new stages I'm going to build here. None of these stages appear to be very difficult at all, so it shouldn't take long. I'll go ahead and show you the parts here first. 63 are parts for the trunk area. 64 are the area up front where our pedal, gas pedal, and brake pedals are. 65, the forward floor area. Phase 66, the gear shift area, some seatbelts. Phase 67, more shifter parts. And phase 68 center console area again. Let's look at the magazine and the build instructions for phase 63. Now remember, the magazine starts us off here with a TV episode guide, and this is Cat's Meow Season 2 Episode 63. And this originally aired in December 14th in 1966. Julie Newmar. Fantastic here. And then we have Great Batman Comics Officer Down, and this is from 2001. And moving on here, Batman Year by Year, and this is Batman 94. Pretty cool. Full spread there. And then we have our step-by-step guide for our parts. And in this case, this phase, we're going to install the trunk compartment as well as the fuel tank filler cap. And pretty simple there. We'll do the filler cap first, put the screws in, then we'll install the trunk compartment. We have to pay attention to which screws we use here, because there are different screws to install it there. And that's what it will look like. So, let's look at the parts real close. Here's the parts for phase 63. And let's get a closer look. AP, CM, and MA screws. And here's our trunk compartment made of plastic. Very nice. And we'll take our fuel filler. We're going to insert that in that trunk area just like that. We'll put 2 AP screws into it from the underside. And tighten down there, and that's how that looks. Now we'll go ahead and install this on the chassis. I mounted the trunk compartment. 4 AM screws were installed, 2 on this end and 2 on this side, plus 2 CM screws up front. That's all I do with phase 63. Let's head over and do phase 64. Phase 64, I begin working on the cockpit of the car, and I'll start putting together the front bulkhead and pedals. There's the parts on the left, and securing the brackets on the right there, and then putting on the pedals. Let me get the parts, I'll be right back. Here's the parts for phase 64. Let's get a closer look. CP screws, the forward bulkhead, made of plastic. Pedals, all made of plastic. Very cool there. And a couple of the brackets. Alright, with the bulkhead here, we're going to install these brackets. If you'll note, the bracket has indentation on one side and it's flat on the other. Plus there's a hole on top, so the hole goes towards the top here, and we want to have the indentations up against those notches there, and put our 2 screws in, the CM screws. After the screws are in place, that's what it should look like on the front end. Now we'll go ahead and install our pedals. And all the pedals are in place. They're just press fit. You can see that. Press fit on the bottom for that. Show you what the back side looks like. Nothing special there. So that's all I do for phase 64. Let's head over and do phase 65. Phase 65, I'll receive the interior floor. You can see that here on the left. We're going to go ahead and fit the front bulkhead to the interior floor. You can see that over there on the right. Taking care that when we handle these parts, we're not going to actually push out those pedals that we just snapped in place previously, so we'll take caution with that. 2 CP screws and we'll be done. Let me get the parts and I'll be right back. Here's the parts for 65. Let's get a closer look. CP screws, and here's the floor. Made of plastic. Very nice. Two CP screws were installed right there, and that's what it looks like there. That's all I do for phase 65. Let's head over and do phase 66. Phase 66, I received the parts for the console base and seat belts, and we're going to go ahead and insert the seat belts first into the console base. Then we're going to go ahead and tie a knot in those seat belts as best as possible, keeping everything even, and that will complete this. Let me get the parts and I'll be right back. Here's the parts for phase 66. Let's get a closer look. Here are the parts, and here's the center console made of plastic, and the seat belts. Really like that chrome finish on the belt itself, and logo on the buckle. Very nice. Okay, next we've got to fit these seat belts through this little tiny slot in the floor there. And to make it easier, I took and I melted the end of the seatbelt a little bit with a lighter, and I should be able to slide it in very easily from there. And if you take a blade and push it through, you shouldn't have any problems. Okay, I tied my knot in those 2 seatbelts and pull through the excess. And there you go. Seat belts are installed. Looks great. That's all I do with phase 66. Let's head over and do 67. Phase 67, I received the parts for the Batphone base, the gear shift base, gear shift head, and bracket. So we'll go ahead and get those installed. And we have the Batphone base also that goes on there. Looks good. Let me get the parts and I'll be right back. Phase 67 parts. Let's get a closer look. AKP screws, and here's our Batphone base made of plastic, the gear shifter, lever, and knob. Here's our center console, getting that ready here, and here's our gear shift and boot. We're going to go ahead and put the gear shift lever through the boot, just like that, with the round part on the bottom there. And we're going to push this through just like that. Okay, and then we're going to put the cover on the back side here, this cover there, and that will go on the back side. and we'll put our screws into that. And moving on with that, make sure the boot is pushed all the way through, and then your cover can fit perfectly on that like it should. And we'll put our 2 AKP screws into that. And those screws are tight. Now we'll turn this over, we'll put our knob on. Just like that. And that looks great. Now we'll go ahead and mount the bat phone. And that just simply goes right beside it. And 2 more AKP screws go into that from underneath. And both of those screws are installed. One right there, one right there. Turn this over, and that's what that looks like there. So that's all I do for 67. Let's do the final phase for this video, phase 68. The final phase for this video, phase 68, we'll build a center console, fitting the gear shift and buttons. There's the parts. We'll apply some parts to that center console, build onto the gear shift itself, put a backing plate on that, and add another little panel to that, and a little T-handle. Let me get the parts, I'll be right back. Here's the parts for phase 68. Let's get a closer look. Here's the center console, made of plastic, very nice. Kind of has a little roughness to it, very cool. Here's a plastic chrome dress-up piece, very nice. Gear shift knob, T-handle, a couple of baby blue knobs, and AP screws. Alright, the 2 baby blue knobs are press fit in place. They look good. Now we'll go ahead and install this dress-up piece for the center console. Same thing, press fit. That's what that looks like there. Looks good. And just like we did before with the shifter, we're going to push this through the boot. And that's going to go in from underneath. I'm going to push that through. Looks good. Push through like that. And we'll put our backing plate on that and 2 AP screws. And the 2 AP screws are installed. Next we'll go ahead and take our T-handle and we'll press fit that in place. That's how that looks there. Looks good. And lastly, we're going to press fit this little panel on the end in place. Perfect. That's how that looks. Looks good. So that completes this phase, phase 68. I'll be right back. And there you go, folks. That completes Pack 13. Did a lot here. Like I said, we're starting on the interior. We completed the trunk area here, and we started on the interior, and I just kind of threw things together how they're going to go. But that's how that looks. Looks great. And that's, of course, that's going to get mounted towards the front of the car. But fantastic here. So if you think you'd like to get this for yourself, head over to FanHome and subscribe to this today. I believe it is still available for you to subscribe to, and it's fantastic. If you like my content, please subscribe to my channel and smash that like button. Happy modeling, everybody, and take care.